Hello, friends. You're probably wondering why you're looking at me in my bathroom, and that is because today I am going to take you through the process of how I redid this whole bathroom. But we're not going to stay in here for that because this is uncomfortable. I feel weird with you looking at me in the bathroom. So we're going to go get comfy somewhere else, and I will take you through the process of how we got this whole thing done. I'm just now realizing that my overalls match the walls in here. That was unintentional on my part, but cool nonetheless. So, like I said, we are redoing this bathroom. So, at this point that I'm filming this, I'm already done with it. I think it turned out better than I expected it to. So, very happy with that. So, let's start from the beginning. So, this bathroom doesn't necessarily have anything wrong with it. We've been in this house for about 4 years, and I just have never really loved this bathroom. There's nothing wrong with it. It just is kind of boring. There's no window in here, and it's just plain beige and white. So, I wanted to do something to kind of spice it up a little bit, make it a little more interesting. This is the bathroom that we primarily use as a guest bathroom, and it's also our son's bathroom. So I wanted to make it a little more inviting for guests whenever they come over, but also keep it, kind of boyish since it's our son's bathroom. So because of that, I decided to go with a blue paint color as kind of my, Papa color, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to keep the top part of the walls white so that it made it appear a little bit taller in there and a little bit bigger in the bathroom, because it does feel kind of small and cramped just being one color. And I was worried that if I did blue all over the walls that it would kind of bring the ceiling down and make everything feel short and a little claustrophobic. So plan was to do a board and batten look around the walls, which I'm sure you saw in the opening clip of this, and then top part of the walls white. Overall, this took me about a week to get done, but like with most of my projects, I really only worked on this while my son was napping, so I only worked on it about 2 hours a day. So had I had, as much time as I wanted to, I probably could have got it done in about 2 days, but I'm a mom. I've got other stuff to do, so it took me about a week to get this done. Day one was a lot of prep work. I got everything out of the bathroom, all the fixtures off the wall, everything. It's just, I wanted to start with a really blank slate to see what I was working with. And that way I wouldn't have to, move things around and prep as I go. I could just get it all done at once. And I think that was a really smart decision. I don't know if you saw what just happened, but I was taking the shower curtain rod off and broke the end of it. We're off to a great start. It literally looks like somebody wrapped, you can't really see it, but it looks like somebody wrapped wire around a drywall anchor and then tried to screw into this. And so it's like not stable at all. So we might just have to move this whole thing. I haven't gotten this one off, but I'm imagining it's probably the same underneath there too. Once I had all the fixtures removed from the wall, I ended up deciding not to reinstall the towel rack that I took down. That was where those big holes were, just because that was going to be right where the top board of the board and batten look goes. So I ended up filling in those holes along with any other little imperfections that I found in the walls. To do that, I went through with my sanding block first, sanded down the areas around the holes just to get any little debris or rough spots smoothed down as much as I could. Then I went in with just a damp rag to wipe off the area to get any dust off from sanding. I then took some joint compound that I had mixed up and smeared it into the hole as best as I could. I try to pack a little bit more in there than what you think you'd need, just because it does tend to shrink just a little bit as it dries. After I got everything mudded, I needed to give it a little bit of time to dry, so while I was waiting for that to dry, I went through and just marked out where I wanted all of those top boards to go in the bathroom. So I've gone through and marked out where I want all of my top boards to go. It'll be 51 3/4 up to there. I just lined it up with the bottom of this cabinet to make it super easy. And then I went through and marked out where I want all of my vertical boards to go. So those are gonna be every 24 inches apart. I didn't mark out that side yet. I need to get this mirror taken down, and I'm gonna wait until I have the new mirror in. It should be here hopefully sometime this weekend. So once I have the new mirror in and I can see exactly where I want that at, then I'll go through and mark on this side where I want my vertical boards to go. But I did go ahead and mark my horizontal board over here as well. So we'll get this mirror taken down, and then I can start painting all of the white up top after I figure out what the glue situation is on the back of this. This next part was so scary, but I'm so glad that I got it done, and I did it all by myself. I took the giant mirror that was on the wall off all by myself without breaking it. I was very proud of myself. But that thing was so heavy, so I did have to get my husband to help me carry it out to the garage whenever he got home, but the hard part, that was all me. Would it be best to wait for my husband to get home so he can help me with this? Yes. But are we gonna do that? No. We're gonna say a prayer and hope for the best. I don't know if I'm sweating from going up and down on this thing or if I'm just nervous, but man, it's hot in here. Oh crap. It's off the wall. And I think this might be too heavy for me. Oh no. Danger. Danger, danger. Don't do that by yourself. But we got it unstuck from the wall. How about that? I'm definitely gonna need help getting this out of here. I got it off the wall, but that is too heavy for me to try to get out of here by myself. So we'll surprise the husband when he gets home that I started a bathroom renovation today and see if he can get this mirror out of here for me. But I don't know if you can see behind there. It's kind of dark. You can see a tiny bit, but the glue really isn't that bad back there. So I think I'll probably be able to get that off and not really have too much of the wall to repair. Back there, it looks like it's just kind of big splotches. So, yay, we did it. Going into day 2, we still had a little bit more prep work to do. I needed to get all of the spots of glue off the wall that were left from behind the mirror. So I scraped those off. I had seen another video of somebody using WD-40 to, apparently it kind of dissolves the glue and gets it off. I tried that. It worked a little bit, but it ended up just kind of making more of a mess than it was worth. So for the most part, I stuck to just scraping as much as I could off the wall and then sanding down the rest, and that worked perfectly fine for me. Before I could start painting that part of the wall, I did need to seal over where the holes were from the mirror. They're not really like holes in the drywall, but it tore some of the paper for the drywall. And so because this is in a bathroom, I decided to go ahead and seal it real good just to make sure that no moisture could get to the actual drywall and cause mold or, wrinkling in it or whatever. So I did have a sealer coming in, so I had to kind of pause on this wall, but I was able to get started on the other walls while I waited for my sealer and stuff to come in. To get all the walls ready for painting, I went through and sanded everything first with just a light sandpaper on this pole that you see here. My goal was not to knock any texture off the wall, just kind of rough up the existing paint so that the paint that I'm putting on it has something to stick to a little bit better. So I went through, sanded everything, and then went through with just a Swiffer mop and wiped down the walls to get any dust off of them, and then we were ready to paint. I started first with the edges of the wall and then around the doors, cabinets, everything with just my brush to get everything edged out first. And you may notice I don't use tape whenever I'm painting rooms. I know that might scare some people, but I have done enough house painting projects and just painting in general that I have a pretty steady hand. So I am comfortable enough to just go right up to the ceiling, door, whatever, and just edge it myself without any tape. So I don't recommend that if you're a beginner at this, but I've done this enough times that I'm pretty comfortable doing it. You're probably thinking, why don't you just turn around on that thing? It'd be a lot easier to get behind you. And that's, no, I'm not going to, because I'm scared. I don't like being on these things. I don't have good balance. That being said, I do think I will have to turn around on this thing. Oh, I hate it. 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 Okay, we're good. My phone is about to die, so I don't think I'll be able to film the next part, but everything is edged around the entire room. On camera, some places look a little bit patchy, but that is just because it is starting to dry already in some places. So if some of that patchiness remains after the paint is fully dry, then I'll go back and do touch-ups. But next up is just going through with my roller and going over all these open middle sections right here. I haven't done anything to this wall. I need to wait. I have some sealer coming that I can go over this just so that, because the paper on top of the drywall tore off on some of these, so I need to seal that so that no moisture can get to the actual drywall, patch it, and then I can paint that once all that's done, but that will be coming in tomorrow, so I can't get to that today. Day 3 was the exciting part. I thoroughly enjoy getting to use power tools. I think it's a good form of therapy. So day 3 was my power tool day, where I got to start cutting out all of my boards that I wanted up on the walls, nailing them in place. It was a lot of measuring, but I think I only messed up my measurements like twice, that's pretty dang good, okay? If you've ever done any kind of carpentry, installing baseboards, anything like that, only messing up twice is a pretty good statistic. I will admit I did have one little tragedy while doing this, and it was not really my fault. The board that's above the toilet, as I was nailing it in, my nail gun, went boom, 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 made it look like the nails were going into the wall, but then I guess no nails came out of the nail gun, so I assumed it was nailed into the wall. It looked like it was nailed into the wall. I let go of the board, it fell onto the lid of the tank of the toilet and cracked the lid. So I have to replace that now. As of, filming this video, I have not done that. So you'll see that throughout the video a few times. That's what that is. Day 4 was pretty boring. I didn't have a whole lot of time to be able to work on this today, so all I got done was sealing the parts of the wall where the glue came off from that mirror, and then I got those holes filled in with the same joint compound that I used earlier and sanded down. I was getting pretty excited when day 5 rolled around because everything was looking pretty good to me. I know it probably looks a little crazy to you on video, but I could really start to see my vision come to life here. I had some boards on the wall, things were getting prepped, painted, stuff like that. So I was getting pretty excited here, and as you can see, my mirror came in. I had a little bit more measuring, cutting, nailing to do now that my mirror was in and I could actually figure out where I wanted the boards to go around the mirror. So once we had those hung up, I was pretty excited. This is how we were looking so far. Day 6 was really the final work day of this project. I was able to start painting my blue paint, and I was so happy as soon as it started going onto the wall. I thought it was such a pretty color, and I'm really happy with my choice there. It did take 2 coats of paint in order to get everything fully covered, so while one side of the room was drying, I moved back over to the other side and went over and finished my second coat on that side of the room. Once I had my second coat done on everything, I let everything fully dry for a day, and then I was able to go in and give everything a good clean, get everything set back up, and I was finished. Well, what do you think? I am super happy with how it turned out, as I've said already. I don't think there's really anything that I would have done differently other than maybe not breaking the toilet. I do have a few little art pieces that I'm going to put up eventually. I just haven't made those yet. So maybe eventually I'll share pictures of that. But as of right now, I am so excited with how it looks. I think it, gave it a fresh update, everything. I think it looks a lot brighter in there now that we have white on the walls instead of beige. I like the blue. I think it, is an inviting color for guests, but it also keeps it a little bit boyish, since that's going to be our son's bathroom for a while. So I'm very happy with all the choices that I made in this, and I want to know what you think. If you liked it, if you have suggestions, comments, questions, whatever, let me know. Thanks for being here with me. If you made it this far, I always appreciate your company, even though I can't see you, but you can see me. That's kind of weird. I have a few ideas of things that I want to do in the future. I just haven't chosen anything yet. So whenever I do decide what I want to do next, I will catch you then. Bye now.